Welcome back to Tennis Talk New York from the 2014 New York Tennis Expo at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, presented by Long Island and New York Tennis magazines. This is the third and final segment of our three-part series, and in this episode you'll hear interviews from Lawrence Kleger of the John McEnroe Tennis Academy, the New York Islander Ice Girls, Peter Kaplan from Peter Kaplan's Eastside Tennis Academy, Xavier Luna of Advantage Tennis Clubs, and legendary tennis coach Nick Bolletieri.
Welcome back to the 2014 New York Tennis Expo. We are joined now by Lawrence Kleger, the director of the John McEnroe Tennis Academy. How are you, Lawrence?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming along. And as director of the John McEnroe Tennis Company, it's one of the prominent academies. It's headlined by McEnroe, of course, who is over in Paris right now announcing for the French Open. But some camps are, they're sleepaway or it's a full year-round school. Your camp is different. It's non-residential, and you guys think that's the right way to go?
Well, John obviously is from New York. New York through and through. Grew up in Queens. Went to school in Manhattan. Went to regular school. Played other sports. Basically developed other interests, didn't have to move to an academy. He became number one in the world and considered by many the greatest competitor that our sport has ever seen. So John feels, obviously, that it's possible because he did it, and feels that for players to become great, they have to develop every aspect of their personality. Taking kids away from their home where they're comfortable, having kids homeschool, which is not a normal environment for them, having to travel to an academy someplace off in a warm climate isn't his idea of developing the total person. Also, kids that tend to go to academies, kids that tend to be homeschooled, really tend to be single-minded, don't develop other interests. And again, if you look at someone like John, he's not only one of the greatest players our game has ever seen, he's definitely the best announcer our game has ever seen, or maybe any sport has ever seen. He also has a big interest in art. He has an interest in music. He's a very, very well-rounded human being. And he feels that part of that contributed to his greatness. So that is his vision, and that is our academy's philosophy.
And your facility is located on Randall's Island, which is, just in is it the Harlem River off of, it's between Manhattan and Queens?
Yeah, it's actually the East River. It's right between Queens and Manhattan, basically under the Triborough Bridge. We have an unbelievable facility. We have 20 courts, 10 hard courts, 10 hard true courts. There's 15 outdoor courts that are lit for the summer. We have a really good fitness center, so it's an unbelievable facility to have right in the heart of Manhattan. We're looking to add more courts, add our facilities, but even as it exists now, it's really a one-of-a-kind facility in this area.
And now that the summer season is just about upon us, what does the program look like for the summer?
Well, in the summer we have basically a summer camp, and we have a bunch of different levels at that camp. So anywhere from a total beginner that does our 10 and under program, our U10 program, to players that are going to train for the U.S. Open. That's, at any given moment, that's what you'll see at Randall's Island this summer.
Now, I find this a little bit ironic that the John McEnroe Tennis Academy has won 18 Eastern Year-End Sportsmanship Awards, but you guys have a very strong code of conduct. There's no moping, no swearing, no racket throwing. So how do you promote that? I know tennis can be very frustrating, but how do you keep the guys and girls in line there?
Well, that's an excellent question, and we do pride ourselves on the fact that we have so many kids winning sportsmanship awards. But our feeling is that in order to compete at the highest level, you have to basically be able to maintain your emotional stability. So being able to control negative emotions is a very, very important part of the game. people will say that there's only been one player in the history of the game that's been able to get mad and come back for the next point and play better, and that's of course John McEnroe. But John might be the first to say that that's certainly not the norm, and chances are being able to stay emotionally stable and emotionally on an even keel allows a player to use their mental capacities to try to figure out how to win, and that's obviously an important thing. So we do have a lot of very strict rules. We want our kids to be disciplined. We want the environment to be such that there are no distractions for our kids. So while we are not so strict in terms of our kids maybe missing a shot, in terms of staying emotionally on an even keel and not acting out, we're a little tough on that, I guess.
And one of your star pupils is Noah Rhoden, who's a young guy from the area. He's currently playing in the French Open Junior Championship. Can you give us an update on how he's doing out there?
Yeah, Noah, interestingly enough, has not played a junior event since Wimbledon. Actually, I'm sorry, since the U.S. Open. He's played mainly professional tournaments. Only got into the French Open qualifier because he has an ATP ranking high enough to sort of get an exempt into the qualifying. In the qualifying, he played the 2nd seed and the 11th seed, lost a total of 2 games in 2 matches, and won his first round match against a very, very tough Chilean dirt baller, as we say, on the red clay, named Bastian Mala. So that was a very good win. He has a tougher match tomorrow. He's going to play the #1 French player and 5th seed, Quentin Hallis, who's a very, very good player. The last time Noah played him was the finals of the La Petitas tournament in 2010, which is the biggest 14 and under tournament in the world. Quentin won that match, so Noah's going to be looking for a little revenge tomorrow.
Well, that's great, and we're all rooting for him here in the U.S. Another question I have for you is, you just spoke on our panel here at the expo. The panel was called "Taking Your Game to Another Level." So can you talk about what you just went over there with? You were one of the panelists, moderated by our own David Sickman.
Yeah, it was a really great panel. I think 6 people that I really respect quite a bit. Not the least of which, of course, is Nick Bolletieri. I've known Nick a really long time. He's been like a mentor to me, always been very kind and very forthcoming with any help or assistance or guidance over the years. So it was really kind of a thrill to be sitting next to him and be able to congratulate him for being elected into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, which he'll receive his honor this coming July. Very well deserved. Certainly one of the greatest tennis coaches in the history of our sport. The panel was basically trying to take players' game to the next level, and again, based on where they are, that will determine, of course, what's necessary to get them to the next level. So there was a very good discussion, very good presentations about at various stages how to go about doing that. The one thing that I tried to emphasize is that, in my mind, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, to try to do for a player to take him or her to the next level is develop their confidence. To me, confidence is everything. You can tell a player that he or she is great, but you really, if you're a great coach, you try to make them actually believe that, to actually live it, to actually feel it. And for me, again, Noah is a perfect example of someone who every time he goes out on the court, he thinks he's actually going to win. And when he doesn't, he's absolutely shocked. So I think in order to become great and be successful in our game, you have to believe in yourself. If you really don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very, very hard to win out there.
And Lawrence, lastly, what are your impressions of the 2014 Expo? I believe you were here last year for 2013. It's grown a little bit. What are your impressions so far?
Yeah, I thought last year's was hard to top. It was great. The event on so many different levels is a great event, especially the fact that it's right here at the National Tennis Center, right here in New York. Obviously, this will be a very busy venue come August, but Dave has done a phenomenal job in organizing this and improving this over the last couple of years. And I'm hoping to be able to be a part of it for years to come. And anything else that Dave does, because everything he does is really of the highest quality. And I'm actually privileged to actually say that Dave actually worked for me at one time. So it's great to sort of be a part of this great event with him.
Well, thanks, Lawrence. Once again, that's Lawrence Kleger, the director of the John McEnroe Tennis Academy on Randall's Island. Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you so much.
We are joined right now by four very special guests. They are the New York Islander Ice Girls. So how are you, girls?
We're doing great. How are you? It's great being here.
So right now we're with the Ice Girls. The Islanders are a big sponsor of the 2014 Expo. How about you guys? Are you guys big tennis fans or bigger hockey fans?
Well, I'm a bigger hockey fan, but my brother-in-law is definitely a huge tennis fan. He loves coming here.
I think tennis is an awesome sport. Unfortunately, I don't know much about it, so hockey.
I'm definitely a bigger hockey fan, but I think that tennis is awesome.
I agree. I love hockey, but I also love to watch tennis. It's a great game.
Great. So we got four tennis fans, four hockey fans. And girls, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys do on game day? What are the game day activities for an Ice Girl?
As an Ice Girl, we're constantly working with the crowd. We're promoting the team. We're doing interaction things with the fans. We're always interacting with each other and making sure that the fans really have the best experience they can at a hockey game.
We just have to keep in mind that no matter how the game's going, we always have to have a positive attitude and keep the fans feeling positive and have a really good energy going so that no matter what happens, they enjoy the game and they can have the best experience while they're there.
Game day means we're cleaning the ice. We are the staple that keeps the games going. Like without us, they wouldn't be able to shovel the snow, and that's really our main job other than like helping out with the pumping up the crowd and things like that. Other than being like the cheerleaders, we are the Zambonis.
Zambonis.
Yeah.
The human Zambonis. There you have it. And you guys make year-round appearances with the team across the country. And
we don't travel really out of New York or out of like this area. Brooklyn's pretty much the farthest we go, or like out east, but more out of New York.
Let's hear about the audition process. You guys had to be on ice for that and doing all sorts of different things on the ice in your skates?
Yes, we have auditions every year, so no matter what you want to be on a team, you have to come back on out to try out. It's a lot of fun. We have to skate, we have to do the shovels and the flags, so you have to make sure you can interact and you have a positive attitude, and it's a lot of fun actually. Auditions are fun. We have them every August, and the first thing we do is get on the ice, and then we show our coach our skills. If you're not a good skater, you pretty much get cut right away. Then we go into like round 2, which is like the interview process, where we all get a one-on-one interview with our coach to see if we have a nice attitude, if we're friendly, if we can interact with the fans in a positive manner, and just have a professional attitude. And then we go back on the ice for round 3, and that's when the final decision is made.
And I've heard that the Ice Girl program with the Islanders, it's become sort of an NHL model around the league. Other teams are adopting similar teams and things like that. Is that true?
We're actually the only team that is all girls, all female-based. Other teams have some females based into it. However, they also have men shoveling the ice with them. We're the only team that is only females. And we were the first team to have Ice Girls. In 2001, when they made a rule change, NHL mandated that they have an ice shoveling crew. The Islanders said, why don't we have some lovely ladies doing this?
Inspired you guys to get involved with the Islanders?
Most of us come from a competitive skating background, and we just really have the passion for figure skating and the passion for performing and just really making other people happy and feel the same things that we do while we're out there. And we work really hard. There's 12 of us, and we work as a team, and we hustle, and we have a lot of fun while we do it. So
I have to say, I've been a hockey fan since I was born.
So the fact that I get to work with my favorite hockey team and do what I love is figure skating, the combination is immaculate. It's the greatest experience I've had.
I think it's a great experience. When I retired from competitive figure skating, I was sad. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep skating in my life, and now I've become like a huge hockey fan too, as well as keeping my skating going. She's a shy one.
So at the expo today, you guys have an exhibit. It's called the Inflatable Hockey Shootout. So what's going on over there?
It's just something for the kids to come and interact, and while they're here and their parents are going through the expo, they might get a little bored. So come on over. We'll make sure they have fun and get excited, and maybe play some hockey also, get them interested in hockey.
All right, well, those are the New York Islander Ice Girls. We're very happy that they came along to promote the team and to promote the expo as well. And thanks for coming along, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the 2014 New York Tennis Expo. We are now joined by Peter Kaplan, the owner of Peter Kaplan's Eastside Tennis Academy in Westhampton Beach, Long Island. How are you today, Peter?
I'm doing great, and thank you very much for having me once again. We think this is one of the all-time great events.
So tell us about your tennis academy. You have a very nice inn as a lodging facility on campus, and how about the courts? What's your facility like?
Well, our inn is not a fancy place, but it has hosted the President of Israel, members of Barack Obama's administration, many professional athletes, and Good Morning America hosts. But it's not a fancy place, but we think that's one of the unique aspects of our tennis academy. It's in a resort, beautiful beach town. All of our rooms have air conditioning. They're immaculate. That's what we stress as far as the inn. The tennis academy is actually 3 miles outside the village. It's a separate freestanding academy with 12 fast dry courts.
And you have overnight campers. You have day and overnight campers at your facility, and there's something called tennis getaways as well.
Yes, we have many people come to our hotel, stay at the hotel, and either just play at the academy. There are also USTA teams and MITL teams or families that come and do a package where they stay at the hotel and train at the tennis academy. It's very flexible scheduling where one member may not play at all, one family member, and one may play for 3 hours and another may participate for 6 hours. In fact, another unique aspect is we cater to both adults and juniors, where I believe we're still the only program in the world that the USTA has selected to be part of its member benefits program for both juniors and adults. Days, half days, certain unique aspects. Very difficult for us to run that, but we have a huge staff, so people seem to like that.
Well, the Peter Kaplan Westhampton Beach Tennis Academy has been listed in several publications as one of the one of the best programs in the world. It's promoted, as you said, by the USTA for junior members. So what is it about your club that has gotten it so renowned by the tennis industry?
Well, I think it's really that we have a great staff, and they're very, very fun, and we go with a very, very low ratio, and I think we maintain the flexibility of being able to deal with anyone from complete beginners to nationally ranked players. We've had some of the best players in the country, and I think we realize that very few are going to play high school tennis. Even fewer are going to play college tennis, and I've coached people that have gone on the tour, but we try to tailor the program to whatever the particular needs or desires of that individual is. Difficult for us, but with such a low ratio, I think somehow we can make it all work. So.
And now that the summer season is just upon us, what kind of programs do you have set up for the summer? And some junior programs or tournaments or event schedule, things like that.
Well, we're basically a teaching academy. We're not a regular tennis club. We don't have tournaments. We don't do very much game arranging. We will, but it's usually among the participants. And there's some families that'll just come and stay at the hotel and just want to go to a beautiful beach or walk into the village. maybe play a little tennis, and then some of them will want to play a ton of tennis. One family member may want to play for 3 hours. One may not want to play at all. So there are all kinds of programs. We can tailor it to what that individual or family or team would like to do.
And Peter, this is our second year of the New York Tennis Expo, and you were here last year. What do you think about the change in the year? It's grown a little bit. You know, there's more people attending, more activities. What do you think about the 2014 Expo?
I've been with this magazine since its inception, and I really think, in all sincerity, it's absolutely incredible, and what Dave and all of you guys do is amazing. This is terribly inconvenient. Our hotel is mobbed. We're in Westhampton Beach. I live in Bedford, but I wouldn't miss this. I just think you guys, I don't know how you do it, how you put this all together. I know it's massively labor intensive. It's, as I said, terribly inconvenient for me, but I just wouldn't miss it. I just think it's a great thing for the industry. And in all sincerity, I think you get a great group. There's, I don't know how many participants, but there are tons. They get great speakers. There's great events for the kids. It's great for tennis. And I'm just excited that you guys will let me be part of it.
Well, we're glad to have you again, and once again, that's Peter Kaplan, the Peter Kaplan Westhampton Beach Tennis Academy out on Long Island. And Peter, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks again, and I will maybe see you this summer, but otherwise I'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year. Thanks, Peter. Joined now by Xavier Luna. He is the Director of Junior Tennis Programs for Advantage Tennis Clubs. So, Xavier, why don't you tell us a little bit about the clubs you operate?
Well, we are 3 different clubs. One's in the Bronx at the New York Tennis Club in Trosneck area in the Bronx, Hardin Avenue, they call it. The other one is up on Roosevelt Island Rack Club, and that is 12 tennis courts, all year round air conditioning bubbles. Then we also have the Manhattan Plaza Racket Club. It's in the heart of the city, which is on between 42nd and 3rd and between 9th and 10th Avenue. And that's 5 hard courts. So we joined all 3 clubs together and became Advantage Tennis Clubs, which is it's been now about 3.5 years as Advantage Tennis Clubs. It's been tremendous, very successful, merging all the clubs together. There is more varieties for members to share as a passport membership for even all the clubs, and even in my field, which passion is the junior portion of it, creating this pathway of all different levels of progressions from quick start to 10 and under to the 11 and up to the tournament training kids to the elite kids. It's been an easier way to recruit and put them into categories of where the kids belong, by group, by age, and especially by level. We are also offering now, as we're speaking, the summer camp's coming right around the corner. We have 2 huge summer camps now and one that is starting. The tennis camp at Roosevelt Island, which I run personally, it's been there for at least 20 plus years, and I've been running it for about 10. It's an average of 50 to 60 kids from all different ages. We have in all different levels. And then we have the other CN Sports Camp, which is on the New York Tennis Club, but we do it 2 blocks away from the tennis club at Maritime College, which is beautiful fields, has the water parks. It feels like we're going to Action Park. I don't know if you guys know what Action Park is, but it's kind of like a water canoeing, and I think they're doing water skiing, and then for July and August, that's what a lot of the kids want to do, is stay in the water sides. But they also do other sports as well. They do some arts and craft. And that camp, it's only been 2 years, and they are very successful. We're also starting a new camp at Roosevelt, starting in July. It's a sports and arts camp. In addition to the tennis, we just hired someone who specializes on the arts program. It's a reason for that is because we're growing. Our quick start in our 10 and under program has grown tremendously. In addition, these quick start programs that you see, we also offer in different little satellites in New York, in the heart of the city. Like we use the gym spaces of Columbia Prep. We use the Avenue Schools gym as well. We use Hunter, and we create programs like that to help us, not only grow but establish a game of tennis more. Introduce it to the whole community, and everywhere we can find a space, and especially if it's close to our club, so we can have a feeder towards our progression, our pathway.
So Xavier, you started playing tennis when you were just a young boy, is that right? How has it changed, in the past years? I know now we have a quick start program for 10 and under, and what was it like then, and how do you think it's going now?
I think it's the best thing ever happened, the 10 and under program. I can tell you from my experience, when I was in 1977, when I was 7 years old, my dad took me out for the first time. Gave me one of these wooden rackets. Jack Kramer, I remember. For the day, I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, this is too heavy. This is too big. The balls, I can't." It wasn't fun at all because it was tough to control it. And next day came. He said, "Come on, let's try it again." My dad just was, very persistent. He said, "Let's try it. I want to play tennis." He never played tennis in his life. He just pretty much picked it up from books, and he cut the racket in half, and he built, I think it was white tape or black tape around the wood, and he put another grip on top of that. And still, the size of the racket was great. It was a little better, but the ball was still a little bit too fast. I mean, we're picking up more balls and actually trying to hit it at the age of 7. Now kids, I see now talking about today, 2014, I mean, thank God for the USTA, the ITF, the PTR, and the USPTA. They all came up with this beautiful levels of progression of balls. The balls make a huge difference for any beginner. It not only makes the kids and even adults psychologically from a beginner feel more like they're more successful. They feel like more happy, or they're enjoying tennis a little bit more. They can actually rally more, and having this progression even as in the academy and challenging certain kids to go from a red foam to a red felt, and telling and mentioning to them and saying, you gotta hit it now instead of 10 times in a row. Now we're gonna try to go 15, and you graduate to one other ball. It's kind of like saying in the old traditional martial arts, you have these big belts with a huge uniform, and it's very uncomfortable. You're kicking out, but the motivation behind even martial arts, the kids, once they got that white belt, they wanted to go to the yellow. It pushes you up. Dad, Mom, when am I going to get a yellow? Challenges the coaches, because the parents come up to you and say, what's next? What do I have to do to get my child to go to the orange ball, or from the foam ball to the felt ball, or from the orange to the green? It's like going from a yellow belt to, I want to be black. It's just a psychological. Yes, we have our challenges that we don't want to make it too hard for them, because we want them, number one thing is for them to have a lot of fun. And we forget, all coaches out there, a lot of them, including myself sometimes, game is fun. And we cannot forget that with ourselves. And having all these little satellites has made us build tennis a little bit more, and that's how the Sports and Arts Campus started in Roosevelt. We've grown.
Now, Xavier, you just spoke on our panel here. The panel was taking your game to another level. Can you speak about the panel and maybe one or two insights that you took from it?
Yeah, it was an honor, to have Nick Bolletieri there, the king of motivation, the legend of the motivating. And one of the questions I found that it was very challenging that I know he specialized on is how do you build confidence in a child, or not just in a child, on anyone. After someone plays a match and loses, and you see the child all sad and down, and the parent has to be the one driving them back in 2 hours. Well, you have to, which he mentioned, you have to get a support system. The coach and the parent have to be teaching your child, saying it's okay to lose. You learn from losses. Even in the confidence level of a kid winning too much, it's my job as a coach to make sure he starts losing. So yes, if he's winning a lot of matches, he's number 5 in the East, we got to teach him to lose and that it's okay. You're going to try to improve and develop your game. It's not the short term, it's the long term that we're going after. Because if he's winning a lot, eventually he's going to lose. Everybody loses. He's got to deal with those fears and accomplish them.
Now, Xavier, this is our second year here of the 2014 Tennis Expo. It's bigger this year with more exhibitioners, more activities, still plenty of things for the kids to do. Right next to us is face painting and balloons, so a lot of fun interactive stuff. What did you enjoy from today as it starts to wind down?
Again, I always enjoy getting everyone together, getting just the tennis community and making tennis fun again. The events that you guys had here at the tennis court with loud music and kids are pumping themselves and just getting lost. And even I saw some of the adults getting lost in some of these cardio stuff. The balloons, the knowledge that we were learning each other with the speakers was amazing. And putting this event together for our tennis games to even grow more. I strongly believe that next year it will even grow more.
Well, thanks again for joining us. That is Xavier Luna of the Advantage Tennis Clubs. He's the director of junior tennis programs. Thanks, Xavier.
Thank you, Ben.
The final guest in this segment is legendary tennis coach Nick Bolletieri, founder of the Nick Bolletieri Tennis Academy in Florida.
Nick, how are you today?
I'm well every single day. That's what life is about, waking up in the morning and say, I'm ready to go for it.
Well, that's great to hear, and we're very happy to have you. So let's go right back to 1978. That's the year you opened your Nick Bolletieri Tennis Academy in Bradenton, Florida. About 10 years later, it was purchased by IMG, and it's now the IMG Tennis Academy. And they saw it as a template for other sports, and now they have other sports facilities just like it. Where did you get the idea to have a residential tennis academy that also, teaches a high school curriculum?
Well, first of all, the academy was just sold out to Will Morris Emanuel. So that was done 2 weeks ago. I got the idea from really when I was in the paratroopers of putting people who feel they're the best and want to be the best, and they all volunteered. That's where I got the idea. Then I started summer camps. Vincent Barty helped me get started. And then I said, to heck with it. Let's put good players together that want to have one mission in mind, to be the best, and that's how it started.
One of the things listed under your name whenever there's a bio of you is that you coached 10 number 1 singles players in the world. Is there a shared trait that all of them had in common that just led them to excel in the sport, to reach the pinnacle of the sport?
The trait they all had is they wanted to be winners, and they were willing to pay the price but also they surrounded themselves with a team that was very positive. I don't believe champions can make it on their own. They have to be surrounded by a team that all work towards the same mission, to be a winner. But remember, a winner is doing everything that you can do, and sometimes the winner doesn't come out in the winner's circle by the score. But if you leave everything on the field, as a famous coach, Phil Lombardi, said, you're also a winner. And last, you refuse to lose. It's all about winning.
And how about one or two of those players? Do they have one unique trait that sticks out in your mind? You know, maybe a different personality type or someone who was really driven?
Well, they were all different. With Andre Agassi, you never know what was going to happen. It was like a time bomb. Monica Seles, everybody thought I was going to change her two-handeds on both sides. Jim Courier, they wanted me to change his backhand, but it made him just hit a serve and run around and do nothing else. Serena Williams, I was afraid to say anything. She popped me in the nose. You know, you go through them all. Venus was very, very graceful. Boris Becker was very, very disciplined. With Martina Hingis, I put the motivation back into her. With Jelena Jankovic, I had to put up with her beautiful mother. So they were all different. And that's what made it interesting for me, was the 10 number ones I worked with, and Maria Sharapova always wanted to win. She refused to lose. So each one of them was an individual, and a successful educator or coach must understand their student per se and how you can get to them.
Now, Nick, a big honor is coming your way this July. You're being inducted into the International Hall of Fame. It's well-deserved. And what do you think about that? How does that make you feel?
Well, first of all, I'm a big dreamer, but this is even bigger than I dreamt. But the award will go in the name of Nick Bolletieri, but I've received this award in the names of all my friends, my people, my family, my coaches, and my staff who made that award possible. I could not have done it by myself.
And you also have a book coming out soon. I think you have some help in there. I think a foreword by Andre Agassi, or some really interesting bits in there. So why don't you give us a little taste of that?
Well, the book is here right at the expo right now. It's called Bolletieri Changing the Game, and it tells how I came about from the day I was born. And I was born in a black and Italian neighborhood in North Harlem, New York, and what it did to be where I am today, including the many failures that I had, but those failures made me get up and do it a little better. And you can buy the book through Nick Bolletieri, tennis.com, and it's a very exciting book because it tells you what it takes to be a winner in life as well as on the tennis court.
And Nick, this is our second year here. This is the second year of the New York Tennis Expo. It's a really great event. A lot of grassroots companies are here promoting their clubs and new products. What do you think about the event and how that it's held here at the U.S. Open site?
Well, first of all, being held at the USO site, it really makes it a success. It's a success by saying to the children, let's go out to the U.S. Open site. Also, the venue guarantees the program rain or shine, and also the speakers and everybody that they have. It's a great venue, including the tournaments for some of those, but not as good as being able to play with the champions. So the venue, to me, is fantastic, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger each year.
Once again, that was Nick Bolletieri, the fantastic tennis coach. Nick, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to doing it again next year, and hopefully maybe after you're at the Open. Thanks, everybody. Go out and play the game, and remember, don't think you can do it, but say you can do it.
Thanks, Nick.
And that concludes this segment of Tennis Talk New York from the 2014 New York Tennis Expo.